Hello everyone, today in this video we'll be discussing the super important questions of RMIPR, and this video is sufficient for you that all you need to know about RMIPR so that you can score easily more than 80% marks. And this is a theory subject, okay, so you need to have a way in which you will be able to memorize or keep in mind a lot of concepts by using short keywords, okay. So that's what I'll be discussing here. In this PDF you'll not find more theory parts, but I'll be explaining you how you can expand these keywords, okay. So pay attention to whatever I say, and before starting, please do like and subscribe. It helps me make more videos like this. So without wasting more time, let's get started. The first question is define engineering research. Okay, see, what is research? Research means finding out more about something, okay. We are learning more about it, okay. Engineering research means what? We are trying to find out more about engineering. Engineering means what? Solving problem, okay. You need to keep this in mind. Engineering means solving problem, and when we solve a problem, what will happen? There will be a solution for it and some value will get added in the society. Some value will get added, so people will become more happy, okay. We are solving the problems. Now we are researching how can we solve the problems more efficiently. I'll repeat. In engineering research, what we do, we are trying to find out more new techniques and ways in which we can solve the problems in a more efficient manner, okay. That is what is called engineering research. And after that they have asked, list its aim and objectives, okay. So engineering research refers to a systematic method. It is a systematic method of inquiry aimed at expanding the existing knowledge base. Whatever is the existing knowledge base, we are trying to expand it, learn more about the things, solving new and important problems. We are solving new problems, and the knowledge we gain from that solving that problem, that also we are putting in the existing knowledge base. Making contributions to the field of engineering means we are making the engineering field more better, okay. That is what is called engineering research, okay. You need not memorize this one, just understand what it is. You can write from your own words, okay. So what are the aims and objectives? So there are totally 10 aims and objectives. I'll be telling you how do you memorize each of them, okay. So first is innovation and advancement, okay. Innovation and advancement means what? You are pushing the boundaries of knowledge and technology, okay. How much knowledge and technology we have now, we are trying to innovate something. We are thinking out of the box and putting new things inside that, okay, so that we'll get better solutions. That is what is called innovation, and by innovation we will be advancing, okay. This is the same thing you need to mention also, okay. Next is the problem solving. Problem solving means whenever there will be a problem, using the existing knowledge base, you'll be solving that problem, so that you'll be getting to know a few more new things, okay. That is what is called problem solving. When you solve a problem, you'll obviously get to know a few other point of views, okay. That is also a part of engineering research. Third is optimization. What do you mean by optimization? Means making it more better, more efficient, reducing the existing cost and minimizing the environmental impact. Those things come under optimization, okay. The fourth is knowledge expansion. We are always trying to understand different aspects of the same thing, right? We're trying to understand various domains and disciplines, so that we'll be able to expand our knowledge and produce better solutions. Next is interdisciplinary collaboration. For example, an engineer might be working with a doctor. Now in which scenario engineer will work with a doctor? See, doctors will use softwares for monitoring the heartbeat and all, right? That softwares are built by whom? Engineers only. So a collaboration between doctors and engineers will produce such amazing softwares, right? So that is what is called interdisciplinary collaboration. By collaborating with different domains, we will be able to produce more better solutions. Next is education and training, okay. Education and training, we know we are just developing systems so that we can train the people and educate ourselves and other people. Next is technological transfer. Whatever we learn in theory in the college, that will be applied in the industry, right? That is the technological transfer, okay. And by that we'll having a societal impact. The value what we add to the society, people will be people's life will become easier. Quality and safety improvement. For example, in a car when we sit, if there is more safety, will be preferably sitting in a car with the most safety, right? And we are the engineers are trying to make the car most safe during accidents or something, if something happens. And quality will also be improved. That will make people buy that car, okay. And last is global challenges. So suppose one of the global challenge is the drought, right? To means get a solution to the drought, what we will be doing, we'll be making some instruments like the water purification, so that whatever the impure water is there, by using an object we can purify the water and use it in drought areas. So this thing what happens, this will solve a problem in area where drought is there. That is called as global challenges. Now how do you memorize all of this? Is just you need to understand, okay. You need not try to by heart all these things. See what main goal we are trying to achieve: to make people's life more better, adding the value. Okay, so there to achieve that, whatever what all things can happen, this you already know by common sense. If we have to innovate, advance, and solve more problems, and optimize what is existing thing, expand our knowledge, and we have to collaborate with different divisions, educate and train the people, transfer the knowledge from the colleges to the industry, and the impact on society which it has. You have to improve the quality and the safety, and the global challenge will be there. Okay, this you already know. Don't try to memorize it. How much ever you can remember, that much you write in the exam. Okay, that was about the engineering research and aims and objective. Very important question from exam point of view. 10 mark question. Okay, don't miss this one. The next question is, what ethical considerations and responsibilities should be taken into account when determining authorship in engineering research? Okay, so determining authorship means something is made. Okay, like a book is written. Who has written this book? Okay, if a single person has written, that is fine. Okay, if a single person has written, that single person name will only be mentioned. But it's usually not the case. Whenever something is made, at that time many people are involved in it. Okay, many people are involved. Now what all the people involved in it and how much percentage they have put a work on it, that should be fairly put in the authoring section. Okay, in the author section there will be written how much who has contributed. Okay, that should be fair. Okay, the main keyword you need to remember is fair. Okay, what ethical considerations and responsibilities should be taken account when determining authorship in engineering research? Okay, when we are determining who have put what contribution, that time we have to be ethical. Okay, you have to consider fairly and assign the responsibilities accordingly. Okay, so to write this answer, first you'll start with clear authorship criteria. Clear authorship criteria means whoever has actually put the effort. Okay, only include those individuals who make significant contributions. Okay, significant means major contribution. Okay, significant contribution to the research work. Simply one or two word they put and they say I'm also author, that is not valid. Okay, clear authorship criteria means who have put significant efforts. Okay, and we have to avoid honorary names, like the names because of some political influences. Okay, we should not be doing that. We have to have clear authorship criteria. After that, have transparency and agreement. Okay, transparency means everyone should be agreed how much role they had in the authorship. Okay, there should be no disagreement in between. Avoid guest and anonymous authorship. Okay, guest authorship means someone will come and say that we had done at that time some contribution, and based on some seniority and affiliations or courtesy, they will say that we had also done, put our name also. That should be avoided. Okay, that should not be done. Anonymous authorship means whoever has done something on that, they should be their name should be mentioned. Okay, they cannot put it as anonymous. Okay, they have to mention their name, or else everyone will come and put their name anonymous and there will be conflicts. Okay, next is conflict resolution. Whenever a conflict comes, that someone says that we have contributed this much and others says they have not contributed this much, in that case involve a mediator in between. Mediator means a judge who will be judging how much which person has done. Okay, and finally their word will be taken into account. Okay, next is accountability of the authors, means what author has put how much. Okay, if the author is a main person, so that author should be responsible for ensuring the data accuracy. Whatever the data is included in that should be accurate. And the integrity of the research means whole research should be uh, based on the correct findings and the same domain. There should not be some loose information here and accurate information here. It should be integrate. Okay, integrity should be maintained. And the that author should be responsible for communicating between the journals and the magazines and the paper publications. All that communication should be done, and the review also should be done by the author. Okay, review, there will be a review team. The author is responsible for contacting the review team so that they make the changes and review the final manuscript. Okay, that is the accountability of the author. Whoever is the author mentioned, they have to do all these tasks. Okay, next is acknowledgement of equal contributors. If there are few or more people who have done equal contribution, they should be mentioned equally only. Okay, there should be no any bias in between. Responsibilities in collaborative research. Collaborative research means there will be different domains involved. Okay, domain 1, domain 2, domain 3, like civil, mechanical and medical. All these domains will be involved in creating a project. Okay, in that case the responsibilities of them will be ensuring that all of the contributors are equally represented. Okay, there should be no bias as that this is a better domain and this is a worse domain, like that should not be there. Responsibilities from all the collaborative research should be equally displayed. Okay. And avoid position based authorship. Position based authorship means because of some authority or title or affiliation, without involvement we should not mention their name. If they have done something they'll mention, else move on. Okay, we should not mention the people who have not put any contribution to it. Okay, so the main thing you need to remember is the fair. Okay, this is a common thing. I have only mentioned those people who have actually contributed to the project. Everyone should be aware of what is happening. Okay, who is contributed more and less, and we should avoid guest and anonymous authorships. If there is a conflict, bring a judge to resolve the conflict, and the authors who are responsible for the doing the tasks, they should be doing the task. Accountability should be taken from them, and whoever has put equal contribution, they should be mentioned equally, and collaborative research from different domains should be represented equally, and avoid position based authorship based on some influence or a title. Okay, if they have put effort, put their name, else don't put their name. Okay, so these are the ethical consideration and responsibilities for engineering research authorship determination. Okay. The next question is discuss different types of engineering research. Okay, engineering research we just discussed in the previous question. So what does engineering research means? We are trying to understand more about engineering. Okay, trying to solve problems more effectively. So there are different types in which we understand. Okay, there are different ways in which we understand. Clearly point out the differences between all of them with examples. Okay, so there are mainly four categories. How many categories are there? Four categories are there. Okay, so in these four categories, there are divisions. Okay. The first division is it descriptive or analytical? Okay. What does descriptive means? Descriptive means describing. Okay. Means understanding in more detail. Okay. Analyzing. Okay. That is what is called a descriptive. It describes the current state. Okay. Whatever the current state. Let's take an example. Okay. You can take descriptive an example of a traffic. Okay. Suppose that there is a road here. Okay. There is a road and there is a signal present here, and there is a lot of cars present here and they are horning. Okay, so there is a lot of traffic present in some area. Okay, now there will be a gadget that will be getting the data of how much traffic is there. Okay, how much traffic patterns are there, and it reports congestion in the peak levels. Means when the peak level happens, all those data will be gathered by that object. Okay, so understanding in detail what are the numbers, how much data is present there, that is what is called descriptive. Okay, it describes the state or the conditions of a phenomenon without altering any variables. Okay, it just analyzes and gets the data. That is called as descriptive. Now analytical means we are trying to understand the causes. Okay, the relationship between different factors, what causes that much traffic, and how can we make that how can we solve it, what we should do so that the traffic will not happen. Okay, this is more understanding how to solve the problem, and this is understanding what the actual problem is. Okay, this is trying to find out the root cause and solving the problem, and this is understanding and gathering the data about that problem to understand the problem. This is understanding, this is solving. Okay, in this what example can be taken? Example can be analyzing the traffic data to identify the major causes of congestion and recommend strategies like signal optimization. Means at what point of time those signals come, if we optimize it, whether the traffic will become good or not. That is first type of research. Okay, understanding versus solving. Okay, second one is applied versus fundamental. Okay, applied means what? We are solving a specific practical problem whose solution can be applied immediately. Okay, example we can take it as developing a water purification system in a drought area or a rural area. Okay, that is an application level research, because once we develop that object we can solve some problem directly. Okay, that is just observing the problem and solving the problem. Okay, that is applied. Next is fundamental. Fundamental means we are at the root understanding what is water. Okay, what are the molecular structure of water, what are the properties of water, going in depth to the foundational level. That is called as fundamental. Fundamental means foundational level. Applied means just from the top we are applying the problem and applying the solution to the problem and solving it. Next is quantitative versus qualitative. Okay, quantitative means we are using the numbers. Okay, numbers means we are collecting the measurable data. Okay, numerical data, analyzing it statistically to derive some solution. Okay, an example which can be taken for this is testing the load bearing capacity of the bridge. There is a bridge, suppose there is a bridge here, okay, we are testing how much the bridge can handle, we are putting more stress on it, okay, we are actually doing it and getting to know. That's why it is called as quantitative. Okay, we are testing it on multiple bridges. Whenever quantity is involved in the testing, that is called as quantitative. Qualitative means we are understanding the properties of the bridge, the properties of the material that is used to make that bridge. How can we improve the quality? Okay, that is not related to quantitative. We are trying to understand the mechanism of that bridge, the working, the structure, okay, and we are interviewing the engineers to understand what better can be done. That is qualitative. Okay, the last one is conceptual and empirical. Conceptual means it is a theoretical idea. Okay, it aims at building new frameworks and reinterpreting the existing ones. What is the concept we have, whether that concept can be made more better or not. An example can be proposing a theoretical model for energy usage in urban infrastructure. In cities, how can we make sure that the energy usage is minimum, there will be no more energy consumption. Okay, how can we ensure that? Empirical means based on a experiment we are doing it. Okay, based on the experiment and observation, we are validating a hypothesis. Okay, that is called as empirical. Okay, an example can be testing the efficiency of a new solar. Suppose that in your home, at the roof you installed a new solar panel. Now you're every day observing how much it is able to generate electricity. That is empirical because it's based on experimentation. Conceptual is just based on thinking. Okay, so these are the four types of engineering research, and this which examples I mentioned you, those you have to write in the exam. Okay, the next question is list the different types of research misconduct. Okay, what do you mean by research misconduct, and provide a brief explanation for each one. Okay, research misconduct means the way in which we are doing the research. If you are not doing it honestly, what will happen? We will get the wrong results, right? We'll get the wrong results, and wrong results will not solve the problem. Okay, so suppose that in max 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. Okay, but I like the number 4, so in my research I will include that there is an observation that sometimes 1 plus 2 will become 4. And if people start using this one in the market, they will go, they'll buy one tomato and two potatoes, and the shopkeeper will charge them 4 rupees. Okay, why? Because 1 plus 2 is equal to 4. So it will not solve the problem, it will create conflicts. Okay, like that only when research misconduct happens, when we do the research unhonestly by lying or putting some kind of false information, at that time the losses will happen. Okay, so what are the different types of such research misconduct that happen in the industry? So the first one is fabrication. Fabrication means illegitimate creation of data. Okay, means without taking data from our actual source, we are generating data from our own imagination. Okay, an example of this could be creating fake data or experiments without actual research. Okay, without researching anything, we are creating the data. For example, a researcher invents a survey data without actually asking the people. He will see the person, and if it looks like the person will answer it yes or no, based on that the researcher is marking it as yes or no without actually asking the person. So that is a fabrication because it is illegitimate creation of data. That is a wrong data. Okay, that is called as fabrication. Next is falsification, inappropriate alteration of data. So suppose that, as I told you, I like the number 4. In that case, I'll put 1 plus 2 is equal to 4. I will make the answer was 3 in my observation, but I will make it as 4. That is falsification, inappropriate alteration of data. So an example of falsification is um, adjusting the experimental results. Okay, some experiment results has come, such as suppose that the temperature results has come. Okay, the temperature result was 50 degree. Okay, but what I did is I'd make it as 30 degree. Why? Because there was another observation that if it is 30 degree in this temperature, that means it means that there can happen another conclusion. Okay, means it can appear that a reaction occurred when it did not occur. Okay, you get my point, right? Suppose if the temperature is less than 50 degree and more than 30 degree, then only this experiment result is acceptable. If it is less than 30 degree, it is not acceptable. So if I get less than 30 degree, to make it acceptable, I'll put it between 50 and 30. That is called as falsification, inappropriate alteration of the data. Next is plagiarism. Plagiarism means using others work without attribution. Whenever you do some research, if you have referred to some other project previously, some other published paper, you have to attribute it to the actual person who has done that. Okay, otherwise it will cause um, wrong image that you have done that research, but actually you would have not done. Okay, so that will cause not in the research papers will not be in sync. Okay, so that is called as plagiarism. The next is self plagiarism. You are using your own researches to publish it multiple times in different places without the actual repetition of the experiment. Okay, that is self plagiarism. What is why does the people do this is to make their work accepted in more places without actually carrying out the work, simply repeating the same results from the previous case. Okay, and the last one is deviations from the accepted research practices. So there are some research practices and some people deviate from it. For example, submitting the same manuscript in different journals. Okay, two different journals to increase the acceptance rate. Okay, another one could be failing to disclose the errors. If you have any errors in the research, you have to disclose it. If you don't disclose, people will think that this is correct, and based on that they will take the decision, so the decision will be wrong, right? So to disclose whatever errors are there, that should be done. If you don't do that, you are coming under the fifth category, deviation from the accepted research practices. Another can be conducting studies to inform participants without telling them what are the risks involved in that, and violating the ethical principles. Okay, without warning the people, if you take a part in this survey, what are the risks you have. Okay, hiding that information, that is also coming under the research misconduct. Okay, the next question is, what are the three broad categories of developing and accessing knowledge in research? Okay, how many categories are there? Three categories are there. Categories of what? Categories of developing and accessing the knowledge in research. Okay, there is knowledge and we have to develop and access that knowledge. Okay, two things you have to develop and access that knowledge. There are three categories of that. How do we do that? Okay, the first one is observation. Observation means seeing or measuring something directly. Okay, this is the first way of developing and accessing the knowledge in research. Okay, in observation what happens, it helps us to study the hard to reach subjects. Okay, if you observe directly and get the answer, that will make things more simplified. Okay, so the types can be laboratory measurements or the surveys or experiments where people are involved. Okay, all those come under the observation type. Okay, example can be observing the growth of plant in a different light conditions. Okay, that is an example of observation. Second is using models. What is a model? Model is a simplified representation of a complex system. Okay, there will be a complex system or the data can be complex. Representing it using a simple diagram or a representation is called as a model. Okay, it helps us to understand and interpret data from observation in an abstract way. Observation means we are getting the data and we are just writing the data. Model will help us to visualize the data and understand it in more better way. So yeah, the different forms of model can be mathematical equation or graphs, or statistical models predicting the growth or the behaviors and the relationship between different variables. Okay, and the example can be using a formula to predict speed of an object based on distance and time. Yeah, you know the distance time graph, right? This is the time will be present here and this is the distance, how much distance is covered in what time. So based on this model we can get to know what is the speed of the object. Next is process and algorithm. What is process? The way of doing. Okay, what is process? The way of doing. Algorithm is how you do it. Okay, so how we do the things. Okay, the methods or the designs used to achieve specific results or solve problems. What is the purpose of having process and algorithm? Why do we need process and algorithms? It helps us to organize and analyze the data. Okay, we are analyzing the data, getting to know more insights and more information. By using the process we will get to solve the problems and get to know more information about it. Okay, so types can be algorithms for sorting data or complex problems, and the procedures for experimentations and designing systems. Okay, an example can be an algorithm to sort a numbers from smallest to largest. That is an algorithm, that is a process. This is a problem and to solve it we use algorithm. So a diagrammatic representation will be as follows. A Venn diagram you have to make, you'll make here as model, observation and process and algorithms. Now suppose that you have a model which represents what the situation is, and you are observing the data and you got some data. Okay, and process and algorithm is also there, the way of solving the problem. Now if both model and observation are combined, means you have the model in which the data is represented and also you have the data. So combining both of these, what we get is a simplified representation of data interpretation. What does the data mean? That meaning will be visualized using a model. Okay, that is the combination of model and observation that you have to explain in the first point. Second is observation and process. You know what is the data and you know how to solve that data. So if we know and if we have the data and we know how to use that data, a practical solution can be devised. Right, that is the combination of observation and process and algorithm. Next is model and process and algorithm. Model means we can represent it visually. What we can represent if we combine with process and algorithm. Optimizing methods based on models. Okay, we'll represent the process and algorithms using a model and observe how can we optimize it. Okay, so these are the things you need to write in this question. Okay, the next question is explain fabrication, falsification and plagiarism. Okay, this we discussed in the previous question as well, but we'll be discussing in depth some other aspects of it. Okay, related to engineering research. Okay, what is fabrication? Fabrication means creating fake data which is not existing, which is not real data. Okay, which is never observed. Okay, creating fake data which never existed nor was observed anytime, that data. But why do people create fake data? To meet the deadline. If deadline is tomorrow and you don't have time to do the survey, your calculation was wrong how much time you had required. Okay, because of that you will make fake data and publish it. Okay, what is the impact? It will damage the trust and reliability of the results achieved. Okay, whatever the results which we achieve by that, we will be destroying that results reliability. Okay, because the fake data is involved in that, that will not lead us to correct results. Okay, whatever is that result, that is not applicable in the real world. Okay, that is fabrication. Second is falsification, which means changing the data. Changing the data to support a conclusion. A conclusion will be there. You want to we want to make it according to that conclusion, but we are not able to do that because of some other observation in the result. So we change the data and make it support a conclusion. That is called as falsification. Why we do that? To get publication of fame. So if we are able to get to a conclusion by our research, everyone will say, oh, this person is so intelligent, the person has got this result, he is so clever. Like that you will be getting the publication and the fame and everyone will be talking about you. So those kind of things will happen when a falsification or changing the data will be there to meet a already wanted conclusion. Okay, impact will be there. Misleading information, again the same things. It will damage the trust and reliability, and whatever the results are obtained, that is not usable, and further uh, complications will be there. Okay, last one is plagiarism. Plagiarism is copying other work. Okay, copying others work. Other people have done something, we are taking it and doing it on our own. That is called as plagiarism. You can do that, but you have to give the credits. If you don't give the credits, you are stealing someone's work. Okay, so the reason to show off. Okay, and to use shortcut, because someone has already done that, why should I do it again? Without credit only I will do, I'll get the praise also, I'll get the work done also in very fast time, I will become rich. So those kind of things will is the reason why plagiarism exists. And the impact is it limits the creativity. Simply taking someone's else work and doing it will limit the creativity. You have your own talent, right? You can use the talent to create your own original work. Okay, original thinking will be reduced. And there are tools which will detect plagiarism that will cause further lose of respect. If someone gets to know that you have copied the work from some other's work and without giving the credits, that will lose the you will be losing the respect in their eyes, right? So these kind of things exist. That is about the plagiarism. Okay, moving on to the module 2, we have the first question: how does the new and existing knowledge can contribute to the research process? Explaining the relevant points. Okay, so whenever we are going to do a research on something, okay, for example, if we are trying to manufacture better suitcases, okay, so what existing knowledge we have on suitcases and what new knowledge we obtained regarding suitcases, how these two kind of information can contribute to research process. Okay, explain with relevant points. Okay, so the first is contextual foundation. Contextual foundation means in a particular context, means in a specific domain, new knowledge is interpreted to the lens of existing knowledge. Whatever we know previously about suitcases, okay, that can be interpreted with the lens of new knowledge. What are the new features we want to include in the suitcase? That can be interpreted through this lens. Okay, that is the contextual foundation. The previous knowledge also is there, new knowledge also is there. By these two, we'll get a new perspective of what is actually required and what is actually possible. Next one is problem identification. Existing knowledge reveals gaps and issues in the field. Okay, what are the existing problems are there? We'll get to know because of existing knowledge, right? And the studying the past solutions, we'll be able to know exactly what we want in a new solution. Okay, next is methodological framework. Previous research guides the choice of effective methodologies. Which method if we use will get the best results, that we will get to know by the existing knowledge. Okay, and the next one is theoretical development. New findings can refine or challenge existing theories. Whatever the existing knowledge we had, the new findings will be challenging that or improving that whatever is the previous one. Okay, also it encourages the thinking and exploration of new concepts. Next one is validation and credibility. Okay, if research has a lot of citations from the previous papers, that will be a more reliable paper because it is dependent upon the previous accurate papers. Okay, that will increase the validation and credibility if we use the existing knowledge to make the foundation more strong in the new findings. Okay, if the new findings are based on the existing knowledge. Next is synthesis of information. Synthesis means filtering. Okay, it reviews the diverse ideas and the insights, and it leads to new perspectives for a complex issue. Okay, so when we get to know a new perspective of something and there's a complex issue, maybe that can be a solution for that. Okay, that is synthesis of information. Next is informed decision making. Informed decision making means awareness of the past success and failures and keeping that in mind. Okay, keeping the past failures and success in mind and devising a new solution. Okay, next is identification of the trends. Reviewing the existing literature reveals how are the trends, how are two things related, if this increases will this increase or decrease, that kind of relationships. When we get to know this information prior to our research, we will be able to easily detect the patterns which are there in the observations. Okay, so identification of the trends from the past can help us to detect the same patterns in the future observations as well. Next is enhancing research quality. If we know what is to be avoided and what is to be uh, taken, okay, the opportunity, that will enhance the quality because we are now taking more informed decisions and better actions. That will increase the quality. Because of what it increases the quality? Because of the existing knowledge information which we had, what to avoid and what not to avoid. Last is facilitating collaboration networking. It is interdisciplinary collaboration. Different disciplines will be involved and they will be collaborating with each other. Okay, so the main thing is here we need to understand that what is the role of existing knowledge. Whatever we already know about that project, we'll get to know what we have to actually add into it and what all the things we need to avoid and what is the how does this thing work. Okay, because of existing knowledge only we'll get to know, right, how does this thing work. Based on that only we'll be able to devise a solution which works with what is existing. Okay, so these are the contributions of new and existing knowledge to research process. The next question is explain how knowledge flows through a citation network using flow diagram. Okay, citation means there is a paper A and there is a paper B, and point in paper B has to be put in paper A. So that is called as paper A cited by paper B. Okay, well, including the information of paper B in A is known as paper A cited paper B. Okay, so when we are doing the citing, the information gets transferred from one paper to other paper. That is called as knowledge flow. We have to explain this feature using a flow diagram. Okay, what is knowledge flow? Through communication channels like it can be verbally or video or books, the knowledge will flow from one place to other place, one person to other person, one paper to other paper. The research flow happens mainly through the books and paper. Okay, that is called as the knowledge flow. Okay, transfer of knowledge from one place to other place. Role of citation. What is the role of citations? The role of citation is to transfer knowledge from previous work to the new innovation work. Okay, and the flow mechanism will be paper A cites paper B, means paper B's information can be put in paper A. Okay, now the diagrammatic representation of knowledge flow and citations. So this is institution 1 and this is institution 2. Okay, and institution 1 has three authors, author K, author R and author U, and institution 2 has two authors, author T and author I. They may be in a different research field and they may be in a different research field, they are in a different institution as well. If there is a knowledge transfer between two institutions, that is also a knowledge transfer. Between the authors, if it is there, that is also a knowledge transfer. If it is between two different research domains, that is also a knowledge transfer. Okay, so they use the information or the findings from each other and put it in their papers. Okay, and and give the credit specifically, and that paper will be published in a journal, and that will become a research topic. And the research topics can also refer other research topics, papers can refer other papers, and journals can refer other journals. So this is how the knowledge flow and citations happen. When we refer to some other knowledge from other paper or a journal, we will be citing that, okay, so that the credits is given. So how knowledge flows between the co-authors, okay, and across the institutions from institution 1 to 2, between different research fields. This is one research field and this is one research field, okay. Moving on to the next question, we have explained various steps involved in critical and creative reading. Okay, there are two types of reading. If a paper is given to you, you will be reading the paper, right? You will be either reading it critically or you will be reading it creatively. So, what is the difference between them? First, let's discuss what is critical reading. Okay, critical means important. Okay, important reading means analyze the text with a judgmental and a cautious mindset. Okay, you're trying to check if the paper which you're reading is correct or not, and what is the accuracy of the paper. Okay, that is called as critical reading. And a few key considerations in that: valid assumptions are there or not, whatever the assumptions are being made in the paper, they are logical or not, and whether the flow is logical or not. From this you go to this conclusion, and from this conclusion next conclusion, is this logical or not, and the data which is used there, which is inference there, that is accurate or not. And a judgmental approach should be maintained during the reading. And the steps involved is: first, understand the purpose, what you are reading the paper for, that purpose is important. Next, evaluate problem solving. Okay, you have to evaluate what is the problem inside that, and for what problem solve, what does the problem solve, means the what does the paper solve the problem, which problem paper solves. Okay, that is evaluate problem solving. And identify the limitations, what are the limitations of the paper, how much area of the problem can the paper solve. Check for the assumptions, logical flow, and data, if they are accurate or not. Okay, so these are the steps to be followed when doing the critical reading. Next one is creative reading. Creative means exploring the possibilities and positive ideas beyond the author's work. We have read the paper, now we are trying to explore further than the paper. What else can be included in the paper? How can the paper be made more better? What are the new things can be included? How can an existing problem be solved in a better way? Innovative thinking, generalization. What is the general lesson from the paper? Okay, the moral of the story we say, right? Like that, what is the main thing the paper is trying to say? Okay, we are trying to generalize it and make it more better. Practical challenges, what are the practical challenges we are facing, how can we overcome it? Okay, so all those things are considered under creative reading. Okay, it is like making the paper more better. This is judging and making the paper more accurate. Okay, if it is right or not, that kind of thing. Focus area in creative reading should be search for new applications of the concept. The existing concept is there, think outside the box. What is the other things where I can apply the same solution? Okay, so steps involved in that are creative reading, explore new applications, generalize the concepts, what are the concepts are included, generalize them, address the practical challenges, what are the practical challenges we are facing, how do we address it, extend the research horizons, don't just be limited to whatever the paper says, try to explore more than that, what are the similar domains present, what are the similar research papers are there in that, and try to explore and expand this same research paper with more information and innovate solutions. Think about the innovative solutions which the paper has. Okay, moving on to the next super important question, which is explains term citation, describe the functions of citation. Okay, what does citation means? It means referencing to source material to give the credit to the author of a work. Okay, suppose that a author wrote a book on apples. Okay, and you want to write a book on fruits. So whatever the apple thing is there, some part of it you want to include in fruits also. So while including the apple part here, you'll be citing that I took it from that book. Okay, that is called as citation. So what does the functions of citation are? What happens when you do the citation? It performs the verification function, means whatever the information I have included, it is taken from that book and that book is verified. So therefore whatever I have included is also right. Okay, that verification is happening. Acknowledgement, that whatever I have taken is acknowledged already in the other book. Okay, and documentation means it will preserve a history of where all the development has happened and how our thinking changed from the past. So when we cite it from different books, we will be preserving that sequence of thinking changes. Okay, so these are the functions and meaning of citation. Moving on to the next question, we have how can researchers effectively use search engines to find relevant literatures in their field? Okay, so suppose that you want to research on some topic, like for example, you want to research on forests. Okay, now you want to write up a paper on the forest, but you want the information about the forest prior to it. You want to know which all papers have been written previously. So what are the search engines present? So where we can search those previous papers. Okay, the first is choose the right search engine. Okay, so an example of search engine can be Google Scholar, right? In Google Scholar, we can find out the articles, papers, journals, all those things we can find. Those are specifically tuned to find the research papers. Okay, so we have to first choose the right search engine. After we have the right search engine, use specific keywords about your topic. In your topic, the keywords could be the river, trees, animals, and plants. All those are the keywords. Specific keywords which are use the features to use the search the specific keywords. Advanced search features include filtering, right? You want to filter some keywords and keep these keywords, and you can filter by the time, date, and the authors who have written, in which journal it was published. All those features will narrow down the searches. Citation trade tracking. Citation tracking means we'll be tracking which all citations are highly present. Okay, whichever the paper is highly cited, that one will be considering. So there is a feature in Google Scholar search that sort by highest cited paper. So we will be taking those paper which are highly cited because they are more reliable. Explore related articles. There are options and features to search for related or similar articles. You can go through it. Set up alerts in the email, like whenever a new article gets published with the specific keywords in that, you will get an email alert. Access institutional resources, which are the institutional or the university's libraries for that particular or similar papers. Evaluate sources from where those citations have been taken. That sources you can evaluate and take some information from there. Organize and manage the references. There are tools to manage the references so that everything is kept at a single place. Read abstract and skim papers. To save time, what you can do, you can collect multiple papers and you can read the abstract of it. Abstract is the starting page where it shows the summary of it, and at last you can read the conclusion also. So just by reading the abstract and the conclusion, you can conclude that what it generally says, with saving much time. And you can skim the papers, means just extract relevant information. When you will do this for multiple papers, you'll be easily able to understand what the knowledge you want, and you'll be gaining that knowledge. Okay, so this is some of the ways we can use the effectively use the search engines to find relevant literature. Okay, moving on to the next super important question, we have explained most common styles for citation used by engineers during research and provide an example. So the most common style for citation. So how does citation happen? It happens in a standard format, and there are some styles, and among those styles there are three common style, most common styles. So let's discuss that. First one is ASCE, which is American Society of Civil Engineers. So this style is used by the civil engineers in America. Okay, primarily used in civil engineering reports for academic publications. It clearly separates the references based on the source type. Based on whether it is book, website, or journal, the type will differ. Okay, and it has a very simple format using the author's surname, website URL, and publication year. So one example for books I have mentioned here. So this is the template. First, author's surname will be written, then author's initial, year, and the title and publisher city, pages used. So here it is Wiersler K, Bogart J, and this year is 2004. Modern Grammar, Regan Books, New York. Okay, so this is the example of ASCE. Next one is IEEE style, Institution of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. Numerical referencing is there. We can reference it using the numbers. Detailed endnotes, at the end of the notes will have detailed information, and widely adopted in electronical engineering and computer science research for conference papers, journals, and articles. Okay, for these three purposes it is used. And at the end of the book, this will be written one, and here we'll be able to see the author of the book and the book which is referred here, and which volume it is, and what is the domain of it, and which year it was published, and which pages it is. So it is a very detailed information. See, detailed endnotes. So in this kind of information, it is mostly used in the electrical engineering papers. The last one is the ASME, which is American Society of Mechanical Engineers. It is Bracketed citations means like this bracket will be using efficiently represents in technical data for quick comprehension. If you want quick summary, you can use that. Commonly used in mechanical engineering and technical documentation. So the example is like this citation, and one you will be writing it like this here. Okay, so this is the different common styles, most common styles used by the engineers for citation. Moving on to the last super important question of the module 2, we have what is impact of title and keywords on citations. So what kind of title we use and what kind of keywords we use, how does it affect the citations? Also, they have asked to explain the citation based knowledge flow. First we'll discuss title and knowledge, then we'll come to the citation based knowledge flow. The first is title. What is the role of a title? Title gives us the first impression. What is the paper about? Is it good or not? The first impression is a very important thing, because of first impression only, no matter how good the content is, if the title is not good, people may not prefer to read it. Okay. And attractiveness, it shows how much, means the more attractive the title is, the more chances that people will read it. So how does that title affect citations? Factors affecting the title, citation rates. Type of title. If the title has question mark or colons, it has lower citation rates. Okay, remember, question mark and colon should not be there in the title. If it is having a title like impact of x on y, the studies of effect of x on y, that kind of titles will have more citation rates. Okay, it is observed phenomenon. Okay. The length of the title. Shorter title captures more attention. Keywords. At least two keywords should be used to improve visibility and citation chances. Now, the role of keywords. What is a keyword? Keywords are the things which we use. The mainly if we write about the forest, the keywords will be trees, animals, sky, plants, sand, and water. All those things are keywords. Okay. It helps in content representation. What is your paper about? That content it represents. The search engine optimization. If you have mentioned the specific and the relevant keywords, your paper will be visible more. Okay, it improves the visibility. So citations impact, it will be increased visibility and avoiding new keywords. If you use new keywords which are not used previously, people may not search it and your paper may not come up. Okay, so that is the impact on citations. The third thing they have asked is the citation based knowledge flow. Okay, knowledge flows from citations. When one research paper references another, one research paper references another, the knowledge flows between them, and this technique is called as citation. This process helps in building on existing knowledge and promoting innovation. It builds on existing knowledge, whatever is present with us, that it uses, but it builds an innovative solution on top of that. Okay, knowledge flows between researchers, institutions, and research fields. Between the researchers, between the institution, between the research fields, the knowledge flows, and the benefits include collaboration, improved visibility, promotes innovation. Okay, these are the benefits of citation. Moving on to module 3, the first super important question is explain the step-by-step process of obtaining patent from initial idea to a grant of a patent. Okay, if you have an idea which you think can be patented, so there are some steps to be followed which we'll be discussing in this video, and in each of these steps there are few key points which I'll be explaining you. So listen carefully to what I say. Okay, so what is the step-by-step process? The first step is to file the application with IPO. Okay, IPO means Indian Patent Office. So this is the website. In this website we have to go, log in, and then we have to file the application. For that some documents will be required, like the patent specification, what is the actual patent you are applying for, the description of the invention, and the claims, what claims you make. Okay, in that patent whatever the claims you make, the scope of protection. Okay, claims means the scope of protection, and drawings, okay, if applicable. And the importance is that it establishes a date from before 18 months. Okay, that is the date, and it marks the official start of the IPO process. Okay, from there it starts the process. Next is publication. Okay, publication happens after 18 months of filing. Okay, the application is published in the office journal of the Indian Patent Office. In IPO's office journal it is published, the application. Okay, whatever is the patent, that is published after 18 months from the priority date. It makes the invention publicly available, so that everyone will get to know that this patent is filed by you. It allows the third parties to oppose the patent if they believe it is not innovative or if it is already existing. Okay, so that is the second thing which happens. The third thing is examination. A detailed examination is conducted by IPO examiner. Okay, there will be an IPO examiner who will check about these things. Okay, prior art search. Okay, what does prior art search means? It searches the existing patents and publications to check if already existing something is there or not, whether the innovation is new or not. Is there any new invention invention obvious or not. Okay, and what is the applicability of that invention in industry, that will be checked. Okay, if any objections are there, the application must respond to them. Okay, the application must respond and address those objections. Okay, and the importance is that ensures that the invention meets the patentability criteria. So once this examination is passed from here, then the grant of the patent will happen. What do you mean by grant of the patent? If the invention is found patentable and no objections are there, so IPO grants the patent, means the validity of the patent. Okay, in that what happens, the patent is valid for 20 years from the filing date. Okay, and it allows the inventor to prevent others from making, using, or selling the invention without his permission. Okay, that is what is the benefit of the patent. Okay, these are the points you have to mention for this answer. Okay, moving on to the next super important question, we have described intellectual property rights. Okay, intellectual property rights, you have to describe it and we have to list its types, and also discuss the history of intellectual property rights in India. Okay, the first thing you need to understand is what is intellectual property. Okay, intellectual property, it refers to the intangible assets. Okay, intangible means which we cannot touch. Okay, derived from human intelligence, creativity, and imagination that have a commercial value. For example, it can be some artwork or literature, innovations, and symbols. Those things come from human intelligence, right? Those things are called as intellectual property. Now, why we need intellectual property rights? So that someone else cannot use it, what we have based on our intelligence we have derived or created. Someone else, if they use and earn money, that will be unfair, right? So that's why intellectual property rights exist. It refers to the legal rights granted to the innovators or the creators to protect their creations and inventions from the unauthorized use or duplication. Okay, so that is called as intellectual property right. Now, what are the types of intellectual property right? There are five types are there. The first one is copyright. Okay, what do you mean by copyright? Copyright means if there is a film made. Okay, the original creative work, like for example a book, music, film, software, painting, all these things come under the copyright. It provides the right for the creators to publish it, distribute it, and reproduce it. Okay, publish, distribute, and reproduce. Distribute, and reproduce. Okay, the copyright for J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series protects the books and movies from unauthorized application. Okay, that is copyright. What is a patent? It is a grant. It is the exclusive right granted to an inventor for a novel, useful, and non-obvious invention. Okay, it prevents other from manufacturing or selling the same without the permission. Example. A patent for a new COVID-19 vaccine formula. Okay, that is a patent. What is a trademark? Trademark is the distinctive signs, logos, or symbol. Sign, logos, and symbol. Okay, it is distinctive and it differentiates a brand or a good and its services. It helps the consumer identify that service. Okay, by looking at it. For example, the example can be Apple logo for Apple Inc. Okay, Apple's logo is also a trademark. Next is industrial design. It protects the ornamental or aesthetic features. Okay, aesthetic features of a product or a shape or a pattern. Okay, it includes the exclusivity in the market for unique designs. Okay, for example, any cold drink. Okay, cold drinks logo will be there, right? That is the unique feature of it. Okay, next is the geographical indications. Okay, it means that where it is originated, where it is actually made, the origin of it. Okay, it ensures the authenticity and boosts the regional economics. Okay, if some there is a tea, okay, from Darjeeling tea from India, West Bengal. Okay, so that is a specific geographical location from where the tea is made. That is the geographical indications. Or champagne from France. Okay, those are the different types of intellectual property rights. Now, the history of IPR in India. Okay, the history of IPR started during the British period itself, during 1856. Okay, British introduced this law to protect the people who are inventing the patents and the copyright and the trademarks or the symbols and the art for from duplication. Okay, and to promote the innovation. Okay, it existed from 1856 to 1911. Okay, and it was modified post independence after 1950. So what were the differences? Patents were modified to include accessibility to food and medicine. So previously, the food and medicines which are patented, that cannot be used. Okay, so it was modified that the common people can use the food and medicines which were patented. And copyright superseded earlier laws and aligned with the Berne Convention. Okay, this is a convention, Berne Convention, which included some laws for the copyrights, and the earlier laws were replaced with Berne Convention. Trademarks was updated, and Trademarks and Merchandise Mark Act in 1958 was introduced. Okay, this is for patents, copyrights, and trademark. And currently, the latest changes include from 1970 to 2000s introduced patent for pharmaceutical and agrochemicals. Okay, patents are valid now for pharmaceutical and agrochemicals. It adjusted to comply with the treaties like WCT, WPPT, and TRIPS. This is for copyright. Okay, copyright now follows WCT, WPPT, and TRIPS. In 1999, the Trademarks Act aligned with the India's trademark system with international standards. Okay, so it's aligned with the international standards of trademark. Okay, India's trademark system. And geographical indication for the goods act complies with the WTO TRIPS 1999. Okay, and the design act, industrial design act, came into force to protect the industrial designs, the logos of the industries which separated from the other industries in 2000. Okay, replacing the previous laws. Okay, this is the history of trademark intellectual property rights in India. Moving on to the next question, we have what are the strategies involved in commercialization of a patent. Okay, so the patent is ready. Okay, now how do you earn money from that patent? Okay, that is called as commercialization of the patent. There are a few ways. First one is granting licenses. Okay, license can be of two types: exclusive or non-exclusive. Granting licenses means suppose you are an owner of a patent. Okay, and that patent is for manufacturing some kind of product. Okay, and one company wants to manufacture that product, so that company will take license from you, so you will give that license to the company, so that the company will be able to produce that, given that the company pays some amount of money to you. Okay, that is called as licensing. Okay, giving the permission to someone to create manufacture that product with some agreed money. Okay, so there are two types: exclusive and non-exclusive. Exclusive means only one company will be able to use. Non-exclusive means multiple companies can be given access at the same time. Second is direct use by the owner. Owner will itself produce and manufacture and sell the goods to the customers. Okay, by that owner can earn the money. And the third one is selling the patent rights. Patent right means if you sell the patent right to someone else, they will pay some money to you, but they will be able to have that full access to that patent, and they can make use of it. Okay, the fourth one is compulsory licensing. Okay, compulsory licensing means if in 3 years, okay, patent was ready, and after granting patent for 3 years, if the patent is not used, at that time someone else can request and use that patent. Okay, the fifth one is collaborations, collaborating with different people, so to make use of the patent. Okay, so by that also money can be earned. And the final is annual reporting. How is the patent being used? That annual report form 27 has to be submitted. Okay, in form 27 it has to be submitted to the patent department, saying that how the patent is being used. Okay, every year it has to be submitted. Okay, so these are the strategies involving the commercialization of patent. Next one is the major steps involved in process of patent registration. So while registering the patent, there are many steps are there, so we have to explain the major steps: prior art search, choice of application, and pre-grant opposition. So what is prior art search? By the name itself we can understand. Prior art search means once a patent is submitted, that patent already exists or not, we have to search. Okay, connected to ensure that innovation is not existing in the public domain previously only. Search through the patent database like INPAS and explore the non-patent literature like journals. Okay, choice of application to be filed. So two types of patent are there: provisional and complete. Provisional is quicker and cheaper. Why it is quicker and cheaper? Because it can be filed with incomplete data, given that later on the data will be added to it. Okay, that is provisional patent. And the complete patent is it is having all the necessary details. Okay, and pre-grant opposition means it allows the third parties to challenge a patent application before it is granted. Okay, so once a third party is present here and the patent is present here, the third party can check if the patent is already existing or not, or if they have any opposition comments on it, they can submit those comments. Okay, it must be filed within 6 months of date of publication. They have the 6 months time. Whoever wants to challenge that patent, they can challenge it. Okay, moving on to the next supplement question, we have defined term patent and write a brief history of patents. Okay, so basically, what is a patent? Patent is a legal right granted to an inventor by a government. Okay, so those who invent whatever the product is, they have the legal right which is granted by the government, providing exclusive right to use, manufacture and sell. Three things: to use the product, manufacture the product and sell the product, okay, for a specific period. That is called as a patent. We write a brief history of patents in India, okay. So this is general, not specifically to India, but you get the idea, okay. History of patents, when asked, you have to write this one. In 1856 it is started with British Patent Law Act 6, okay. It encouraged innovation. So when did patent get started? 1856, during the British period. In 1911, Indian Patent and Design Acts was introduced, which extended the patent duration. How much duration the patent was there? It was extended a bit more, okay. In 1950 to 1952, after the independence, amendments were made for food, drug and chemical. These things also patents were added, okay. And in 1970, the Patents Act, innovation and national interest patents were added. And recent amendments in 1999, 2000, 2005, recent amendments were made for pharmaceutical and agrochemical products, okay. Moving on to the next open question, which is, in which circumstances Indian residents are not required to file a patent first in India to get a patent protection in another country, okay. So suppose that they are applying, one Indian resident is there. That Indian resident wants to apply a patent in other country, okay. Before applying to other country, he has to apply in India, okay. In which circumstances first India is not required, other country directly he can apply? In which circumstances it is? First is, if 6 weeks have passed after filing in India, okay. If 6 weeks have passed filing in India, after that permission is not required, he can apply to other country. If invention has no market in India, if there is no market in India, no one wants to use that product, he can apply in other countries patent without taking permission from India. If the invention is a part of international collaboration, in that case it is not required. And for inventions related to defense or atomic energy, these two things, defense and atomic energy, which means radioactive metals, nuclear bombs and all, for those things the patent is not required, the permission from India, they can apply directly outside, okay, in whichever country. Moving on to the last supplement question of this module: what are the inventions eligible for patenting, and which are the matters considered as non-patentable? Okay, which is patentable and which is not patentable. First is, the to be eligible for a patent, the invention must meet the following criteria. First is novelty. Novelty means the invention should be new and not disclosed anywhere in the public domain before the filing date. Okay, example: a new drug to treat a specific disease. It should not be disclosed in any public domain. Firstly, it has to be applied in the portal, okay. Next is inventive step. Inventive step means the invention must involve creating a step that is involves a creative step that is not obvious to the person who is skilled in the field, okay. It should not be obvious. So an example of this can be developing a solar panel with enhanced efficiency using a unique material, okay. That is not obvious, right? If we use that unique material, it will enhance or not, okay. That is called as inventive step. Third is industrial applicability. It should be useful, it should not be useless. And fourth is patentable subject matter. That means invention should fall under the categories by the patent law, such as process, machine, article of manufacture, composition of matter and so on. Means it should come under these categories, okay. Now, non-patentable matters: inventions contrary to the public morality, like for example human cloning and a device for gambling, that cannot be patentable because it is against the human morality, okay. Mere discoveries like law of gravity and all cannot be patented. Frivolous inventions like an umbrella with a fan or a light, that is useless invention, that also cannot be patented. Invention related to atomic energy and radioactive metals cannot be made as patentable. And the literary, artistic, musical works like books, paintings, sculptures, software programs, these are not covered under patent law. It is covered under copyright law, okay. Plants and animals, if suppose someone genetically modifies a seed or a plant, that cannot be patentable. And traditional knowledge such as turmeric heals the wounds, right? That also cannot be patentable. Integrated circuit layouts, this is a semiconductor topic, that cannot be patented, okay. The protection is granted under a separate law, not under the patent law, okay. That was about the module 3. Let's move on to module 4. The first super important question in the module 4 is, using a flowchart, explain the steps involved in the trademarks registration. Okay, so what is trademarks? It is a unique symbol or logo, okay, particular to that company. So what are the steps involved to register the trademarks? Okay, the first is receipt of the applications and data entry and digitization at the branch officers. First, application needs to be submitted. After that, examination of the application, approval by the supervisors and release of the examination report, okay. And then publication of the trademark can be done. before that, if any objections are there, then objections response should be given by the applicant, and supervisor satisfied with the response or not, that will be taken into consideration. Okay, if objections are not there, then publication can happen. If the objections are the responses are given by the applicant and the supervisor is also satisfied, it can be published. Else, if supervisor is not satisfied, it will be rejected, and it will be appeal may be made before IPAB. Okay, and in case the publication is made till here, then the last check which is to be done is opposition. Okay, opposition, if there is any objection whatever is there, if that objection is right and the applicants trademark is wrong, in that case opposition is accepted and application is refused. If it's the reverse case, then no opposition or the opposition decided in the favor of the applicant, then the trademark will be registered. Okay, once more from the start, application is here, objections first it will be checked. If the objection response is successful and the supervisor is also satisfied, it will be taken here. Then the opposition from the third parties, if it is not having any issue, then the trademark will be registered. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have defined the term copyright and write its classes. Okay, first we have to define what is copyright, then we have to write its classes, and then we have to explain what are the two exclusive rights owned by the copyright owner. Okay, so what is copyright? Copyright refers to the legal rights granted to the original creator of the work in the fields like literature and computer software. Okay, so it is a legal right given to the creators of literature and computer software. Okay, now the classes of copyright. The first one is literature. It includes books, essays, research article, lectures, computer programs, softwares, and databases. Okay, and next is dramatics, which is screenplays, dramas, and theoretical works. Sound recordings such as the phonograms and CDs, the recordings of the sounds. Okay, artistics is nothing but the drawing, painting, logos, maps, and so on. Okay, musical is musical notations, including or excluding any words or actions spoken, and protection applies even if it is not written down. Okay, and cinematograph film, a visual recording created through any medium including motion of the pictures, TV programs, and visual recordings with the sound. All of these come under the classes of copyright. Next is exclusive rights. Okay, and that is of two types, economic and moral rights. So what is the exclusive rights? Exclusive right owned by the copyright owner will be given only to the copyright owner. Okay, so the first one is economic rights. In economic rights, what happens? The copyright gives the control of over financial benefits to the owner. Okay, so what does financial benefits include? Reproduction, distribution, publicly performing, broadcasting, translating, adapting the work into different forms. That permission only the owner has. Okay, exclusively the owner has. Okay, if something is to be performed by someone, the permission is to be taken. Next is moral rights. Moral right means these are the author's personal connection to the work. For example, right of paternity. Right of paternity means the author has the right to be recognized even after it is given to someone else. Okay, means that author's name remains on the book or the film even after it is published or adapted by others. Okay, and also right to integrity. That means the author can stop someone from using whatever the right is to insult the author. Okay, or changing the meaning or the message of the author that can harm the author's reputation. Okay, that is a moral right. And there are multiple right holders in some cases. For example, if in a song, okay, musical recording sound, the lyricist has a right, and the composer, performing singer, musician, sound engineer, recording company, all of them have some rights. So multiple right holders also will be there. And economic rights can be transferred. If we transfer economic rights such as the reproduction, distribution, the others, whomever to the right is transferred, they can earn money. But moral rights cannot be transferred. The author always retains his right even if they sell or license their work. Okay, author's name should always be mentioned, the original who is the owner of it. Okay, the original author of the product. Okay, moving on, we have the next super important question, which is explain the process of copyright registration. What are the benefits for the copyright holders? Okay, what is the process of copyright registration? First, apply the application. Put the application. That's the first. Then issuing a diary number. Diary number will be given, and 30 days mandatory waiting for objections. If any objections are there or not, 30 days we will wait. If it is not there, then we will be continuing with the further process. If it is there, in that case, a letter will be sent to the applicant, and the reply from the applicant will come by hearing the applicant's reply, the registrar will decide if it is satisfied or not. If it is not satisfied, application is rejected. If it is satisfied, the application is accepted. And then scrutination by the examiner will happen if there is any discrepancy or not. If there is discrepancy, again the same thing will happen. The letter will be sent and the reply from the application will be applicant will be taken into consideration, and then the decision of the registrar will be happening. If the registrations decision of registrar is no, in that case it is not accepted, and again the letter will be sent to the applicant. If it is accepted, in that case the extracts from the register to the applicant will be done and the copyright will be registered. Okay. And the benefit for the copyright holders, there are few benefits the copyright holders have. Okay, the first one is exclusive right. Exclusive right means only the copyright holder will have those rights. Okay, only the copyright holders has the right to reproduce, distribute, or perform the work. They can authorize others to use as a fee. Okay, if others want to use, they have to pay a fee. Next is economic rights. The reproduction, distribution, public performance, broadcasting, translation, adaptation, all those rights. Okay, the owner has, the copyright holder. Next is moral rights. Rights of paternity. That means right to be recognized as the author of the work, even if the copyright is transferred to others. And right of integrity, which means alteration to bring down the reputation of the owner should not be done. And financial benefits include the copyright holder can generate revenue through licensing, sales, or royalties. Legal protection. Okay, in legal protection, copyright holders are legally protected against unauthorized use of their work. Okay, and reputation and recognition, author can maintain a recognition and respect for their work through moral rights, especially in the case of public performance or use by others. Whoever is publicly performing something using their right, in that case the author should not be they, the performer should not damage the reputation of the author. Okay, the next super important question is, what are the roles and functions of the copyright board and copyright society? Okay, two things are there. First is copyright board, second is copyright society in administrating the copyright laws and regulations. Okay, so first we'll discuss what is the copyright board. Okay, the rules and regulations and the functions. So before that, what is a copyright board? It is a judicial body, okay, constituted by the government to judge between any conflicts. Okay, it ensures that copyright laws are correctly applied, resolves the disputes, and ensures fair practices in the administration of copyright laws. So what are its functions? First is appeals and rectifications. Okay, what does this mean? It hears the appeals made against by the registration. Here's the appeals against decisions made by the registrar of the copyrights and handle requests for correcting those requests. Okay, if there is any wrong in those requests. Second is dispute resolution. If there is any dispute between two copyright administrators, at that time the ownership and the rights are clearly defined and the conflict is resolved. Granting compulsory licenses. The board can guarantee compulsory licenses to publish or republish the work in certain situations. Okay, in certain situations the right can be to publish and republish can be given. Okay, such as after work has been published for 7 years. Next is translation licenses. Issue compulsory license for translating the literary work into other languages after 7 years of first publication. Royalty and resale rights. Fixes the royalty rates for sound recordings and establishes the resale rights for original works, how much should be the cost and all, and like for the paintings, sculptures, and manuscripts. Okay, all those things are decided by the copyright board. Next is the copyright society. In the copyright society, what happens? It is a collective administrative body formed by the authors and the copyright owners to manage and protect their rights. Okay, it helps the authors and copyright holders to track use of their work, manage royalties, and address the infringement issues. So functions include rights management. Rights management means it tracks and monitors the use of copyrighted works, who is using and are they allowed to use or not. License issuance means issues the license for someone who wants to use it. Fees collection and distribution, and collective representation formed by 7 or more copyright holders. It is formed, the copyright society is formed, and examples include script and IPRSL and PPL for different domains. Okay. Moving on to the module 5, we have the first super important question, which is define geographical indications with an example. Okay, you have to explain what is geographical indications, and we have to also write what are the rights granted to the GI holders. Okay, so what is geographical indication? Okay, geographical indication means it is a sign or a label used on a product that come from a specific geographical locations. Okay, like some region. Okay, where that particular product is made, the origin of that product, and possess qualities and reputation characteristics inherent to that region. Okay, example, dazzling tea. The right granted to the GI holders. The first right is right to grant license. They can grant license to someone else who can produce that or manufacture and resell that. Okay, given some fee in return. And right to sue. If someone is unlawfully doing that, the right to sue by the right to sue, the GI holders can sue them for that and charge penalty fee. Right to exploit. They can give opportunity to someone who can exploit it in the market and generate revenue, and that will be shared to the GI holders, a part of it. Okay, and rights to obtain relief, the damages caused by unlawful use of the product. For that, the monetary and the financial penalty can be asked by those who have damaged it, and that will be given to the GI holders. Okay, so these are the four rights that the GI holders hold. Okay. Using a flowchart, explain the process of GI registration. All the process charts are very simple. First, the application fees. It starts from the application fees and acknowledgement by the registrar. Registrar examines it, and there is a 2 month time period in between, and the issuance of the examination report. The report is generated, and the applicants reply within 2 months, based on the issuance of the report. And if the based on the reply, if the decision made by the registrar on the reply is not accepted, applicant may appeal for 1 month. If it is accepted, it is published in the journal, and after that there is opposition. If there is any opposition for the against the geographical indication, if it is there, means opposition claims are accepted. If it is not there, means GI is registered. Okay. Moving on to the next important question, we have briefly explained the overview of industrial design, summarize the non-protectable industrial designs in India. What is industrial design? Industrial design refers to the aesthetic features of an object such as shape, pattern, color, or a combination of these things. Okay, that is an industrial design. What is the goal? The goal is to protect the originality of the creator's design and promote further creativity in the industry. To protect the originality, what was the original design in the product, that should be protected. That is the purpose of it. Okay, and to enhance further creativity, so design must be original and unique and distinct. Okay, so some of the non-protectable industrial designs are: first is against the public moral values. The designs that violate the moral standards or the social values cannot be protected. Example, design that promotes harmful or offensive messages, such as design related to hate speech or violence. Okay, that will not be protected. Second is national symbols. Design that feature national flags, emblems, or symbols of any country are not eligible for protection. A design using India's national flag or its emblem as a part of product's design, that will not be protectable under the industrial design. Third is integrated circuits. The design or the internal structure or the layout of the circuits is not protected. Process related, how to make a biryani, that recipe is not protected. Okay, and documents and stationery is also not protected. The artistic works, like that form a part of a photograph or a painting or a sculpture, are uh, are not protected under the industrial design. It is protected under the copyright law. Okay, and lastly, the trademarks are also not protected. Like for example, the design that forms a logo, that cannot be protected under the industrial design law. For example, Nike's swoosh logo cannot be registered as an industrial trademark. Okay, and it's not cannot be registered as a industrial design, but it is protected under the trademark. Okay, the logos and all is protected under the trademark. Okay. Moving on to the next one, we have explain the process of industrial design registration. First is again filing the design application, and then formality check will be done, and substantive examination within 6 months. You have to remember just how many months are there. Rest of the things are similar. If it is accepted, then it is fine. If it's not, again go back to the previous steps. If it is accepted, the registration, acceptance from the 6 months of date, and publication in the official journal, issue of certificate, and if it is not, cancellation of on the opposition proceedings. If it is issued, then term can be of 10 years and extended for further 5 years. Okay, moving on to the last super important question, we have explained the famous case law between Apple and Samsung Electronics related with the industrial design rights. Okay, so what happened is, before iPhone, the Samsung's phones were looking like this with the buttons and all, but after the iPhone came in January 2007, Samsung also started preparing these kind of phones. Okay, so Apple told that you are copying me. So this is the means fight happening between Apple and Samsung. So Apple sued Samsung in 2011, saying that it presented side-by-side images comparing iPhone 3GS and Samsung Galaxy S. Both are very similar. As you can observe, this one and this one is very similar. These ones are very similar. Okay, button is here and a button is here, and the screen is here, screen is here, and the microphone is here, microphone is here, camera is here, camera is here. So all those things are very similar. So like that Apple told. Okay, but it was discovered that Apple was lying. Why? Because Apple was exaggerating the design similarities between the two phones, and the fight continued to happen for 7 years. Samsung also countersued Apple in multiple countries: South Korea, Japan, Germany, USA, and so on. So after 7 years, the outcome was decided in 2018. An agreement was reached where Samsung was ordered to pay $539 million to Apple. Okay. Don't miss any of these questions, very important ones. And please do like and subscribe. It helps me make more videos like this. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.